Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video I'm going to take you through the Forex market wrap. I'm going to highlight the news that's happened this week and some key charts. So going through the news first of all, the two big events that we were watching this week were the US FOMC press conference and FOMC rate statement and the pound rate statement as well. So the FOMC raised interest rates from 0.25% to 0.5%, just like Jerome Powell had outlined the previous month. And the dollar has taken a little bit of a hit by it because the Fed are not acting as aggressively as investors would like at the moment due to the rise in inflation rate. So the Fed may have to step up and do something fairly soon in the next meeting perhaps, but you know, the talk of more interest rate hikes are still there, but they've been slightly lowered in the sort of the amount that they're going to do. Also, with the Bank of England, we saw a 25 basis points jump up to 0.75%, and the Bank of England were actually fairly hawkish in their stance, and they talked about hiking interest rates much further. So the difference being between the two central banks at the moment is that the Bank of England are willing to raise interest rates a little bit more aggressively than the Federal Reserve at the moment. So that's quite an interesting dynamic there, especially because we talked about the pound on the strength meter being a area where it could start to reverse and start to become bullish, and that's what we've seen this week really. So if we go into the pound US dollar prices for the week, we can see that price is fairly bullish. We came back into the major 1.3 level and pretty much bounced straight off of it, and the market hasn't really looked back since. We had sort of a smaller head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hour time frame develop within this sort of larger head and shoulders pattern. So it'll be interesting to see if pound can break through the 132 barrier next. If we can start to trade above 132, I think price is going to trade much higher, perhaps back into sort of the 134s or into this kind of structure low here on the weekly time frame. So definitely one to watch now, because pound strength is starting to creep back into the market. One market that we pointed out this week for long opportunities was pound yen. We can see that price is largely trading within this structural range here on the weekly time frame between sort of 149 and around about the 158s, and recently price had accelerated to the upside, and that gave us the idea to start looking at some further long opportunities, especially because the yen is starting to weaken significantly as well across the board, and you want to be looking for stronger currencies to trade the price against. Now, we did look at this little area here on the 4-hour time frame, looking to see if there were any kind of sellers at that point. We did get a slight rejection, but not enough to take us back down to the demand zone of 154.27, which is what we were looking for those long ideas. Instead, price has broken through these highs, so the demand zone is going to change slightly for us now. If price could potentially pull back into sort of this area here around about 155.80, I'm going to be looking to see if we can see some long ideas up to sort of that 158.15, which are these major swing highs on pound yen. Aussie US dollar then. So Aussie US dollar surprised us a little bit. The strength meter was highlighting that the Aussie was at a potential top in the market, and that we could start to see some weakness creep in, and especially because we started to break through multiple lows last week after rejecting this kind of double top neckline high. It looked like we were getting the false breakout here, and that price could push a little bit lower, but that hasn't followed through this week. Price turned around about 71.64, and ever since price has been fairly bullish here, in line with a bit of a risk on in the markets, and price has now made a new high on the 4-hour time frame, so suggesting here that we could see the Aussie strength continue in the near term. We might be seeing prices back up towards 0.75 in the coming weeks. Finally then, silver. Silver's a chart that I really like the look of at the moment. There is a seasonal bias for shorting silver, which we talked about in a recent video. Price came up towards 26.78, rejected. Like the idea of trading this to the downside. a commitment of trade reports showing that commercials are really aggressively starting to sell silver at the moment, and technically we have this head and shoulders on the 4-hour time frame that price has formed. We had the little touch of the supply zone that we were looking for, and price is starting to extend to the downside now. So if you were looking for those short ideas around 25.53, there would have been a couple of good opportunities for you to look at that downside, but I don't think that's going to stop right now. I think we could see price extend below the lows here on the 4-hour 24.45, and if price is going to aggressively move to the downside, we could see price test the lows of the range around about the $22 mark. So definitely want to watch for the near future silver, as price could be heading lower. But I hope you enjoyed the videos this week. If you did, leave this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel to watch some more of our Forex trading content, and I'll see you in the next video.